I got bullied when I was in school when I was 13 years old.
Taking that and evolving in that to the better, that's the mindset.
I don't think that there is failure.
When your why is powerful, the how becomes easy.
Each one of them was a blessing.
You mentioned that change doesn't scare me.
The hardest part of change is making a decision that a change is necessary.
Have you ever met someone who doesn't just embrace change but thrives in it? Welcome to another Power Pack episode of the Stellar Talk Show. I'm your host, Stellar Ram. This is where stories turn into strategies, and today's guest, he's building an empire on transformation. From shifting belief systems in his youth to building businesses that empower real estate agents and entrepreneurs across Canada, Oliver Bow isn't just leading, he's lighting the path. He's a father, he's a leader, he's a media presence and a community builder who proves that when your why is strong enough, no pivot is ever too risky. So whether you're in the middle of a career shift, building a business from the ground up, or simply looking for that one moment of ignite for your next big move, this conversation is just for you. Now lean in, because Oliver's about to show us how change isn't the challenge, it's the cheat code. Let's go. Hi Oliver, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Stella. Looking forward to it.
Most definitely. Oliver, I have to say, your words has been very inspiring for me. You mentioned that change doesn't scare me. What ignited that fire in you?
I mean, I think the less romantic answer is it's kind of like an ADHD thing. I think anytime there's a new situation, there's a new dopamine rush. But I think more than that is there's a new opportunity to make a difference and to impact change to some capacity. I think change is often scary. And I don't want to say change doesn't scare me like ever. There are elements of change that are scary, but I think the hardest part of change is making a decision that a change is necessary. But I think the second that decision is made, I think as soon as you're on the other end of it, things just really do get a lot better. Like Will Smith once told a story. It was a really great story of how he went skydiving and he was really scared and he didn't think it was even going to happen until he was literally pushed out of the plane. And that's when he realized like, oh, this was real. But the second he realized that it was already happening and there's nothing he could do about it, he said he felt the most serene he'd ever felt. And I do think that's true in everyone's life, that whenever they make a change for the better, it's really scary. But the moment that change is made and official, everything becomes easier and great.
That's amazing. Just seeing past that fear, that's the mindset that we need to thrive on. So tell me, like, where in life did that change happen to you? Like, what was that pivoting moment for you?
Well, I think there's a few. Like I kind of have like I was born in England and I moved to Canada when I was 6. So obviously I'm too young to be able to make any decision, but I remember that only being exciting, which obviously as a 6-year-old, you're not really going to feel anything else other than excitement for your family moving across the world. But there's other things, like my family never used to be religious and then we became more Orthodox. We're Jewish. And that change was a little bit scarier. I was about 13 at the time, but with that change, it's a different lifestyle and there's different things to appreciate as well. Career-wise, I mean, I went to school for advertising and then I became an entrepreneur, started my own company for real estate marketing. And then after that, I went and became a team leader for a real estate brokerage. So each change, there was something fundamental about it, whether or not it's a change in location, a change in I guess, ideology or the way that I live my life, a change in profession, a change in going from employee to business owner, and then a change going back to employee again. Everything, each one of those changes, I think, was pretty fundamental. And they were hard, but I think each one of them was a blessing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And as you share your journey in your career and in your childhood, it actually shows the changes that you went through in few stages. And taking that and evolving in that to the better, that's the mindset, right? And tell me a little bit about you mentioned that when you were around 13, that's when your family became more religious. That that change that you had in yourself and in your family. How has that influenced you today in leadership and also in entrepreneurship?
That's a good question. I think probably, I don't think people would quite expect, I think, the range of experiences that I've had in my life. So I think it's allowed me to see people regardless of where they're from and what they've got going on in their lives, their race, religion, ethnicity, but even like psycho stuff, like whatever's going on in their heads. Like, I think those changes have made me realize that everybody really is the same. It's just manifested differently. So when I see somebody, let's say, that's really intensely, let's just keep in the world of religion, someone who's really intensely religious and someone who's really intensely non-religious or atheist, they sound exactly the same to me. Like the way that they talk is so similar.
Mhm.
And it's made me realize that whether you're a Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, atheist, religious, like we really are all the same. It just manifests
Mhm.
differently. And I think the best thing that we could do is learn to be moderate in our approach and everything, and also
Yeah.
learn to, I think, be like empathetic and not in a cliche way, but realize that other people are going through the same or different stuff than we're going through, but we're all going through stuff and we're just trying to make the best that we can in this world and
Mhm.
make sense of it.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. No matter what religion, what beliefs that you have in your system, end of the day, we are all human. We travel the same journeys as everybody else is. So appreciating and humanizing that, and being kind to each other and evolving together that's the mindset, right? Most definitely. You also told me that when your why is powerful, the how becomes easy. And you mentioned your wife is your wife, your kids, your family. Me, how does that look for you, showing up for them, being an entrepreneur in today's world?
Yeah, I don't think without a why, I don't think many people will be able to be an entrepreneur. It's a very thankless job. And when we look and talk to like this right now would be like a highlight. Like I'm on a podcast. It's great. But like how
Yes.
many years did I like just go downstairs and start working in my basement, get dressed up in a nice
Mhm.
button-down shirt because I have to mentally be present to show up even though nobody was there saying good job, Ollie. Like this is how it is. And I
Mhm.
think
Mhm.
I mean, if like let's say if you want to get really simple, like if I wanted to get in great shape, on the first day, it's really exciting, and I've got enough of a motivation to get up and get it. And on the second day, the same thing. And then obviously 3 weeks in, the excitement has worn off, and it's literally just I'm sitting there thinking I could go, but I really don't want to. And why am I doing it? Like the reason that I was doing it because it was exciting, like I don't have that reason anymore. So like we're good.
Mhm.
So the why
Yeah.
has to be everlasting. It has to be eternal. My
Mhm.
family fingers crossed, knock on wood, however you say it for whatever religion you're in, my family's not
Mhm.
going anywhere. So it's my job to provide and to protect and look after them. So on those down days when I really don't want to go to work or I don't want to work hard and get the job done, there isn't really an option because it's bigger than me and it's bigger than my emotions and how I feel at the moment.
Yes. Yes, no, I understand. That's very inspiring. Your why defines your journey, right? And getting you to where you want to be. So that's beautiful to have that why. And it's also okay to change your why now and then because as life evolves and you grow up and be like more independent and career wise and things like that, your why can change, but your end goal is the same. Have a legacy for yourself and your family.
Well, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I would even go take it a step farther. I think that even if the journey does change, like it doesn't really matter what changes along the way, obviously, as long as you're moving forward and you have a why. But I think when
Mhm.
I had just become married, when it was just my wife and myself, my why was to make a big life for myself, to become the best in an industry, whatever industry that was in, to become well known,
Yes.
very wealthy. And those are things that like I want in my life, obviously, or maybe not
Mhm.
obviously, but those are things that I want in my life, but like that's taken a massive backseat to my family, to my kids who came afterwards. And 100%
Mhm.
my journey changes. And I'm sure we're gonna get into this decision that I just made, this most recent change, but I would never have
Yeah.
made that decision without my family.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so like when it comes to change, that evolvement, your journey actually you went from marketing to real estate, and from there you actually led a brokerage, a team of realtors. Now that's more to come. So Oliver, take us from that journey. What ignited that fire and your journey there?
Specifically from marketing to real estate.
Yes, and from there to leading a team of realtors, and now what's next?
Yeah, I think that. For me, the change wasn't as much going from marketing to real estate as much as it was going from self-employed business owner to employed by the brokerage.
Mm-hmm.
So marketing is it's a discipline really, like, but you can have marketing for different, again, different manifestations. So I can market for dentists, chiropractors, or real estate agents. So it really started with marketing is what I'm good at. It's what I know. So who can I do this for? And I looked and I saw there's millions of real estate agents and they all need marketing. So let me go there and do that. And then the first change was I was working in an advertising agency. And when I realized I wanted to do it for real estate agents, I became self-employed. That was the first transition. I think I was a bit young and naive when I started that. I don't think I had a clue how hard it was going to be. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that change was brave. I think,
Mm-hmm.
again, I had the luxury of being naive. I think the change afterwards was when Philip, the person who owns the brokerage, asked me to become the team leader. That was a really scary change for me because there's a lot of optics around when somebody goes from having their own thing to working for somebody else. It's like, oh, he couldn't cut it, I guess it
Yeah.
just didn't work out for him. What was interesting is when I did it, nobody cared. I mean, everybody was just
Mm-hmm.
happy for me, but nobody was sitting there thinking about me. I wasn't that important to them, and I wish I would have known that when I was hemming and hawing on the decision. Eventually, after enough of it, I realized like I need to make the best decision for me, and the best decision for me was to take advantage of the opportunity that Keller Williams has provided and go and work for somebody else. So that for me was the biggest change of yeah, having my own business to running somebody else's business.
Oh wow, that's inspiring. During that time, you have built system, you have trained many agents, you have a podcast, you have led teams. What has been one of the other many of the failures that actually ended up becoming a big gift to you?
That's also a great question. What is the failures that became a gift? I think
Mhm.
every time something didn't work out the way that I had wanted it to, having any level of introspection taught me something massive. So I'll tell you that my first company was a lead generation agency for realtors before COVID. And everybody wanted seller leads, everybody wanted listings during COVID. So the buyer leads that I was generating were obsolete. Nobody cared. And I shifted gears very, very quickly, which might have been a good decision, might have been a bad decision. Again, because I grew from it, I think it worked out at the end of the day. But I think for there, what I would have told myself back in the day is try to remove the noise and stay calm and composed and don't panic. Just because right now your product is not the thing that everybody's going for because people don't want buyer leads to the same extent. Adapt. You don't need to kind of burn the whole house down. So that's maybe what I
Mm,
learned then. Then with for social media, I realized like again, focus on the thing that's going to make the money to the like to the detriment of everything else, and that's okay. So I think the failures is each time something happened that I would say quote unquote didn't work out the way I had anticipated, the ability to look back and say this is why it didn't work is so much more valuable than learning it in like a lesson or in a textbook. And I'll take it to the next level. You'll always hear like Alex Hormozy will always say the moment that you feel like giving up is the moment that you've got to push through because that's the moment that everybody else would give up. And that makes sense. And then you've
mhm,
got Gary Vaynerchuk, for example, who will talk about how life is short and you've got to make the decisions. And don't be afraid to adapt and how Blockbuster didn't adapt when Netflix came around and they shouldn't have been so stuck in their ways. Or if you're in a job that you don't love, don't be afraid to switch and go to a different job. Like these pieces of advice are very conflicting.
mm,
And I think it's very hard for people to know how to make sense of these conflicting pieces of advice. So I'll give you another example on a personal level. When I first got married and I was listening to all of the marriage advice that people were saying, one of the things that I heard a lot was never call your wife a name, right? Never insult your wife. And I was like, great, okay,
mm,
I got it. Well, in my head, I'm not the kind of person that's going to call my wife a name. That's a ridiculous thing to do.
mm,
But what happened in my head is I took that and I was like, okay, so I got to make sure that I don't argue with her. Like whatever she
mm,
want, like that happy wife, happy life, I've got to
mhm,
give everything to her and put myself like behind, like it doesn't matter what I want. And there was
mm,
nothing positive coming from that for me nor for her. And the
mm,
advice that I got, that was actually the best piece of marriage advice that I received from my mom was don't be afraid to have an argument. It's okay. That's part of it. So
Mm-hmm.
they're both right. You obviously should never call your wife names, but you also
Yeah.
shouldn't be afraid to have an argument and say like, no, I don't agree with this. I don't like this, and make sure your voice is
Yeah.
heard. And the
Yeah.
same exact thing for her. And I think for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's about taking these, t- um, what's the word? Ethereal pieces of advice that make sense for somebody, and
Mm-hmm.
figuring out they're all true, but what's the most true for me?
Yes, yes, yes. That's amazing because the examples that you actually shared right now actually gives us the output of what's beyond that fear aspect, right? The change is not something that we need to be fearful of, especially in this age of time, Oliver, with AI being a big part of every single industry that we are looking at. A lot of people do fear that hey, I don't know what that really means, but learning that, adapting to it, and generalizing that and seeing beyond fear and looking at the capabilities, the advantage of utilizing it into your business, to your everyday life, or like in your journey of studies. That's the evolvement that you can definitely have. So every single example that when you're actually throwing that out, like that's what I'm thinking, right? So in just on that tone, when it comes to entrepreneurs in today's economy, real estate agents, like in my industry, the visibility on social media, you know, has evolved a lot, right? So tell me a little bit about what you have seen in your journey leading a team of realtors and entrepreneurs. How are they adapting to this new norm of being present in social media, and why is that important?
I think I might give some counterintuitive advice that people might not expect me to say, but
Mhm.
I think for the most part, people aren't really adapting. I think they're too busy trying to think about what they should be doing instead of number one, just doing it, or number two, figuring out what their voice is. And to be honest, the vast majority of the time, there are some very notable exceptions, but the vast majority of the time, social media is not bringing in business even close to as much as, let's say, cold calling or door knocking or any of these unsexy methods are. I think people, like all marketing works, it just none of it works unless you're doing it consistently enough. So I think people need to get into the habit of almost turning social media into a passion project for them. Don't worry about the business. It's not coming for a little while anyway from social media. But post a video a week that you enjoy, that provides value, that's funny if you want to be funny, that's valuable if you want to be valuable, educate, like make it work for you that you enjoy doing it so that when it doesn't bring in business for the first 6 to 12, even 18 months, you're good. You're still doing your thing. You're still enjoying it. And if you hate social media that much and you don't have the money to outsource it, like maybe out of a sense of obligation, do a video a week if you, or whatever, if you have to. But to be honest, focus your energy on other things. Like bring in, just make sure that you have business coming in and don't rely out of the gate on social media because it's not going to do that for you.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I just want to add to that, Oliver, if you don't mind. So, what I would say is, if you are going to be doing that, be consistent on that as well. If you're going to be going out there and putting a couple of videos, as Oliver mentioned, for a few weeks, and then you're going to get discouraged and forget about it for any reason, that's not going to do anything for you. Because what I have seen in my journey, in this entrepreneurship, and doing the talk show, for an example, it took time, it took consistency. It took giving up many times, but to see beyond that and keep going. Because that's when you will see the results coming. Just to share on this episode as well. So when I started the talk show, Oliver, I think that was the same time we first met as well. And you motivated me because at that time I was very fearful of my voice. English was not my first language. I'm an immigrant to the country, and I'm new to the business too. So it's all these limited beliefs in me actually was keeping me closed up, in other words. So I had to break through that. So speaking to you and like-minded people actually encouraged me to do what I'm doing today. And to be very honest, when I started my podcast on YouTube, I only had 4 subscribers, and it remained 4 subscribers for a few months. But right now I have over 5,000 subscribers. I have over 500 and I don't know, some hours of listening. So being consistent and keeping at it definitely gives you results that you won't believe. When I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, how did I do that? And then when I looked back, it was the game plan, the strategy that I put down on paper and being consistent on it. And I think if I can do it, anybody out there can do it. right? And it same goes to entrepreneurship as well. So as you mentioned, if you're doing it business focused, and if you're generating online leads, conversions or the business, the money doesn't flow. It will come in time, but you have to be consistent on it. Be there, make those calls, knock those doors, do what you got to do, pick your style, be that person that you want to see yourself be, and be consistent. That's all that I have learned from my journey so far.
I love that. I really do. And one of the things that impressed me the most about your podcast is that when it started and there wasn't a lot of views on it, and I knew who you were, and I was like, that's great that you're doing this. And then the views started going up and the engagement started going up, and you started to get some really cool guests. And like you have a video with like over 12,000 views on YouTube, right? One of your podcasts.
Yes, yes,
Like
I do.
this is like the farthest thing from an overnight thing. Like you've been really doing this consistently for a long time. And when you say anyone can do it, I think everybody has the talent to do something like this, or if it's not this, it's something else. I don't believe everybody will stay consistent with it. So I think everybody could do it, but I think most people won't, just because we live in a world where we want immediate rewards and it just doesn't exist.
No, and I hear you. So be like, with anybody who's listening today, the message there is to be consistent, choose your path and be consistent at it. Don't give up so easily. Whatever, life happens, people get sick, family happens, kids happen, whatever that is, try to pass that obstacle and keep going. Most definitely, most definitely. And being a coach to many, Oliver, in your journey, your mindset blocks, do you see most often, like at your end, and how do you help people break through them? Like for an example, in social media, or like in entrepreneurship goals or business goals, or in life in general.
I think one of the biggest things that stops people is they have a story. This is straight out of Bold, but it's true anyway.
Mhm,
People have a story that they tell themselves about who they are and what they can do and what they cannot do.
mhm,
Very rarely is the story objectively true, but it's always a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, for example,
yeah.
there's an agent that I speak with a lot, and he's so convinced that he's more unmotivated than most people and that he's just can't get it done. Like no matter what, it's impossible for him to get it done. And I like dig into a little bit some of the things he's feeling, and I don't want to trivialize or make light of what he's going through, but it's not unique. It's not unique. And I think there are ways that somebody can be special in the world, and everybody wants to be special in the world. But I think the easiest thing to do is to make yourself be special by being exceptionally unmotivated or exceptionally incapable of this or that. And it's like, let's work a little bit harder. Let's figure out what makes you special that's not negative, and then let's
Yeah.
make that your identity. So again, you and I didn't speak. I think the first time we met, I gave a presentation. You came over to me afterwards. You spoke a little bit. I didn't dig too much into your psyche about what was stopping you, but whatever those limiting beliefs were, you didn't
Mhm,
make that the thing that makes you special. And now we're in a position looking back where the thing that makes you special is, despite the fact that I speak with probably thousands of realtors, and I'm not exaggerating that, I can
mhm,
literally count on one hand the amount of real estate agents that have done the amount of podcasting that you have. So
mhm,
the thing that makes you special went from, and I don't know that this is the case, but I'm going to say most people's case, that's not me. I don't do social media. I don't have a good voice. Whatever those limiting beliefs are inserted here, you took that and you said, the thing that makes me special is I'm going to be consistent despite all of the things that are trying to hold me back, and I'm more powerful
mhm,
than each of those things. So I think the mindset is, and I don't want to be a cliche, but figure out the thing that makes you special that's not
mhm.
negative, and stop telling yourself a negative story about yourself, because it really, really holds you back in a very real, measurable way.
Yes, no, absolutely, absolutely. I hear you. Whatever that is, make it your superpower, right? Take it to the next level. Go as further as you can go, and become that person that you would like to see yourself be. That's where, like, I took my challenge on, and I see, like, many people out there, they would love to take that opportunity too, but just be consistent, have it written down on paper. Chris Chopite, my mentor, he mentioned on my very first episode, when I asked him, like, how would I get myself there, I said, Stella, write it down on paper. Like, once you write it down, it actually engraves in your brain in a special way. No matter what, it will keep you going until you hit the end goal. So that's exactly what the mindset for a thriving entrepreneur or anybody in any journey should be.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And when it comes to legacy, I know you have touched many lives, including mine, I have to say. What does legacy mean to you? And what do you hope for your kids to learn watching you in your journey, in your life?
I think I can answer the question much easier for my kids. Like what I want them to see is whatever you're doing, go all in. And if you want to
Mhm.
change, that's fine, but don't take one step out. Like if you're going to go from here to here, that's fine, but you go all in here and then decide to go all in here. So whatever you're going to
Mhm.
do, make sure that you're going all in, make sure that you're impacting lives, and don't be that person that just wants to get the job done so that they can move on to whatever it is that they want to do. Like get the job done in its absolute to its absolute fullest extent and do a
Yes.
great job. I
Mhm.
think from a
Mhm.
work perspective, I think honestly, and be a great person while you're doing it. Like let's even say be a good person while you're doing it.
Mhm.
From a personal perspective, I think that there is, for me, the most important thing is to be a leader. Like that, I think is my superpower. It's the thing that I always strive to be. And it's a
Mhm.
never-ending journey. And I had somebody asked me yesterday, like, what makes a leader? And it has nothing to do with kind of like what you say. I think if there's
Mhm.
something that you want to get done, like
Mhm.
just do it. Just get it done.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
there's oftentimes also people want things in general to get done, and everybody dances around like, I'll do it if they do it type, you know? Like, do you want to come to this basketball game? It's like, well, how many numbers do you have? I don't know. Why doesn't someone just say, yes, I'll be there? And you know what? I want to play, and there needs to be six guys. So I'll call them and I'll say, I'm coming. Let's make it happen. Let's get it done. So just move forward, just get things done and make the world better and be a good person while you're doing it.
Amazing. That's a very beautiful legacy to have. Thank you very much for sharing that. I'm going to get into our lightning round. I'm going to ask you 4 questions. Your shortest answers possible in the most meaningful way. So, the first one, the biggest lesson you learned from failure.
I don't think that there is failure. Do you want me to
Yes,
elaborate
that's
or is that
amazing.
good?
Yeah, that's amazing. Just, failure is always a stepping stone for your next level or next journey. So, level up, most definitely. The next one, Instagram or LinkedIn?
Oh, I that's an impossible question to answer. It depends on the person, the niche, and everything. Just a very, very
Yeah.
quick one sentence elaboration before. I think if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough.
Yes.
No one is ever good at something for the first time. So if you're not failing, that means you're not doing anything for the first time. And yeah,
Yeah, you need to take those risks, right? That's very, very important.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to Instagram or LinkedIn, what I mean by that is, where do you think the entrepreneur should be paying attention to? I know LinkedIn has a bigger, like a professional profile based platform, and social, like, Instagram is a completely different platform. So when it comes to entrepreneurs, do you think they should be focusing on LinkedIn mostly or Instagram?
Well, an entrepreneur that starts a new like niche marshmallow company should
Mhm.
probably be spending their efforts building Instagram videos or TikTok. If somebody's
Mm,
selling business to business, I don't know, POS software, like maybe LinkedIn, if they can figure out a way to make Instagram work. Instagram and LinkedIn, these are just eyeballs. That's all that they are. So the
mhm.
eyeballs that are on LinkedIn are the exact same thing as the eyeballs that are on Instagram. The only difference is the people who those eyeballs belong to. So figure out where
Yeah.
your audience is, and then if the people that you want their eyeballs is on LinkedIn, then do it on LinkedIn. And if they're on Instagram, they do it on Instagram. But like want
Yeah.
to simplify things.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. And when it comes to like your the best time of the day, is it early morning or late nights?
Again, I think that's a person to person thing. With businesses, I think different professionals have different searching and scrolling habits. And if people spend their business day scrolling on LinkedIn and they should be working, then post on LinkedIn during the day. If you're dealing with very, I don't know, wealthy professionals who, let's say, don't even get a chance to go on their phone or computer until the kids are in bed, then do it
Mhm.
at 9 o'clock. But it is a case to case basis. Figure out what works best for you.
Best for you, exactly. And the next one, Um, one word that defines 2025 for yourself. What you thinking?
Opportunity, maybe? Like, I'm thinking chaotic is one, excitement is another, and opportunity is another. I think they kind of, and I thought of those in that order. I think it's obvious why, but yeah, somewhere between chaotic, excitement, and opportunity.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the last one, what would you tell your 13-year-old self, Oliver, if you were to meet your younger self today?
That's a good question. I'd tell him that you're a baller. Like I got bullied when I was in school when I was 13 years old, or at least it felt like it. Um, and I almost like questioned the belief that I had in myself. I thought I was amazing. I thought I could do anything, and I don't think I ever lost it, but they beat me down a little bit. And I think what I would do is I'd go back in time and be like, "Your your capabilities transcend any way that you feel right now. Like you're such a baller. You're gonna be such a baller. You got to keep working hard, and it's not gonna be easy. But like you got
Mhm.
absolutely everything that life's gonna throw at you." And I would actually
Yeah.
honestly love the opportunity to tell that to myself. I don't know if I would be the same person that I am now. I think part of the journey
Mhm.
of me getting to this place was questioning it and realizing that, like, no, I've got it right. I am a
Yes.
baller. And I think maybe I needed to question it to become more convicted in my beliefs. But in this hypothetical, fantastical world, I would go back and tell myself, you got this, you're awesome.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I'm very proud of yourself as well, Oliver. Based on your story, you have come a long way, for yourself too. And also, like when you were coming, traveling that journey, you didn't leave the others behind you. You pulled them with you. So that's a leadership, a mentorship, goal that, I would love to try with myself as well. So kudos to you. It's been an inspiring story. And I know I have, this is a great pleasure spending this time with you, sharing your story on our Stellar Talk Show platform. Thank you very much for your time and your presence today.
Can I add one thing here for a second? I think it goes back to the question that was asked to me yesterday is what makes a leader?
Mm-hmm.
And because you're talking about like you want to be the person that brings people up, and I don't necessarily I don't know you from a on my like let's say standing in the front of the room leader type of perspective. I don't know, but I do know that you're a leader because you're doing something that you wanted to do and you didn't wait for permission. You just went and did
Mm-hmm.
it. So I think you'd
Yeah.
actually be a good definition of what does it take to be a leader. It's literally just find something that you want to do and inspire other people to do the same thing and just go and do it.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Oliver, for sharing that and inspiring us today with your story, with your goals. And we wish you all the very best for your next chapter. And we are very excited to see what's next for you.
Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome, Oliver. Wish you all the best. And there it is, the proof that change isn't just something we survive on, it's how we rise. Oliver Bohr showed us today that transformation is a superpower when you lead with heart, stay rooted to your why, and keep showing up even when it's hard. If you felt that, don't just scroll on. Like this episode, share it with someone in transition, subscribe for more real stories that spark real change. Remember, growth lives just beyond your comfort zone. So go out there, lead boldly, and keep evolving because around here, we don't fear change, we thrive in it. Thank you for spending your time with us on the Stellar Talk Show. We hope you found value in today's episode and gained insights to help elevate your lifestyle. If you enjoyed the discussion, please like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who could benefit. It means the world to us. Until our next episode, stay inspired, and I'll see you soon on our next Stellar Talk Show.